Hey guys, it's Cream.
Over the course of the 3 Raimi films, pretty much every product you can think of had been Spider-Man-ified for the movies. This unsurprisingly included clothing. So today, we're going to be taking a look at some old but cool Raimi Spider-Man clothes. Now, it would pretty much be impossible for me to show every piece of Raimi clothing ever made, so I've selected what I think are the ones worth showing from each film. Maybe you'll even see one that you had at one point. So, enough with the intro, let's look at some threads. Let's start with this one. At first glance, this one is pretty straightforward. Cool design, cool logo, but a view from the back reveals that this is actually a Pop-Tarts promotional shirt. Not something you'd often see on the back of a Spider-Man shirt, but I think this is pretty cool. This isn't the only food promo shirt, as this one is an Eggo Waffles tie-in. This one Dr. Pepper. And this one is for Carl's Jr. The Pop-Tarts and the Dr. Pepper ones are my favorite, but I think they all look nice. I don't see any of these movie food promo shirts like this nowadays, which is kinda surprising since they do tie-ins with literally everything else, but that's how it is, I guess. On the rarer side of things, here appears to be a shirt that the crew of Spider-Man wore while working on the set. Here's another clothing item that the crew wore, this time a custom Columbia jacket. This jacket would definitely be one of the coolest pieces of outerwear, but sadly it is really pricey. But fortunately there is also this jacket, which is nice looking too. Aside from some other cool looking t-shirts, really sick button-up shirts were made, which is right up my alley. This one in particular kind of blew my mind because it's pretty much Symbiote Spider-Man on 2002 merch. I know it's not really, but it's still kind of insane to see. Or this one, the colors are reversed and I mean, come on, that's just cool as hell. A couple months ago, I remember seeing another nice button-up, which had the entire thing comprised of Goblin's face, but I cannot find it anymore unfortunately. There still is this one though, so that's cool. For all those sports fans out there, here are some jerseys. Now I gotta warn you all for this next one. This is classified as Omega Drip, and too much exposure to high levels of hard drip can have uncertain side effects. I present to you the Raimi Spider-Man shoes. Now I tried to look into these more, but I can hardly find anything. Besides this picture which I grabbed from eBay, the only other picture I can find of them is from this Walmart ad showcasing some Spidey gear you could have found at Walmart's. It's a shame that these are so rare, but at the same time it adds intrigue to the Raimi shoes. You were definitely the coolest kid on the block if you had a pair of these at the time. Looking for accessories next, I found some neat hats. The best ones I saw were this one and this red one, which seems to be pretty rare. It's got the US release date on the side of it, so maybe it was given to early theater attendees. Surprisingly, I couldn't find any pants or socks, but I did find these trunks and a couple of ties. Also, in this Walmart ad for Spider-Man clothes, you can see some Spider-Man undergarments. Probably wouldn't want to buy used ones on eBay. So, that was Spider-Man 2002. Now let's move on to... It seems that brand promo shirts were less of a thing with Spider-Man 2, as this Dr. Pepper shirt and this EB Games shirt were the only ones I could seem to find. Similar to 2002, there are some Symbiote Spider-Man shirts here as well. This one is really cool because it looks like something you'd find from the Spider-Man 3 era. And here's the other, which is nice too. There were a lot of great t-shirts made for Spider-Man 2, so I'll show some of the best now. This one here isn't your ordinary t-shirt, as this shirt was made for the crew doing the electric rigging for the film. Here are some button-ups that I could find. Look at that, the multiverse of Tobys. If you're a football fan, you may have seen these before. Spider-Man 2 Atletico Madrid jerseys. That's right, in 2004, the Spanish football club had Columbia Pictures as one of its sponsors. And Columbia saw this as an opportunity to promote Spider-Man 2 by having Nike make these bad boys for the players to wear. Even Toby got to get his hands on them. People ask a lot of money for these online, so getting one of these for yourself may be tough, but I'd keep an eye out for a low price because these are sweet. What's also sweet are these jackets. Now, finding shoes was kind of a difficult task, but I managed to do it finally. The first pair we have here seems to be a roller skate shoe of some sort. I'm not 100% sure if these are official because the website I found them on was a little bit weird, and they did have some bootleg products, I think, but I mean, they kind of look official to me, so I'm gonna count it. Then the other pair we have here is from Reddit, and as you can see, this was made by someone in the Raimi Memes subreddit who posted a picture of them as a child, and he's wearing not only Spider-Man 2 shoes, but Spider-Man 2 hat and a Spider-Man 2 shirt. I mean, this kid is completely dripped out here. You would not want to mess with this kid in school, that is for damn sure. But yeah, although they're not the best looks at Spider-Man 2 shoes, we were able to get something at least. When it came to bottoms, I was able to find plenty to show off. A whole swimming trunk army was uncovered. As for the rest of the bottoms, here are some boxers, jorts, and pajamas. I guess Marvel really wanted to churn out hats because wow, there are a ton of them. If I had to pick a favorite, it may just be this Otto Octavius ink hat. The logo is really clever with the arms making the two O's. For the last bits of Spider-Man 2, here are some ties. Alright, with the first two films out of the way, we only have one left, and that is of course the final film, which is Before we really get into the shirts, I want to show you this website page that I found. It's by liquidblue.com, and this seems to be an announcement for Spider-Man 3 t-shirts. I'm sure most of you have seen this one, the half-breed shirt, which is probably the most popular Spider-Man 3 shirt. The marketing was really amped up for Spider-Man 3, so it's no surprise I was able to find plenty of shirts to show off. Pretty sure those are Spider-Man 2 renders. These two are probably my favorite because I just think anything with these badass renders of Venom is awesome. Sadly, I wasn't able to find any button-ups, even though I highly doubt none were made, but I did see this NASCAR racing jacket. I was able to find two of them actually, with this one having a mask hood. I know next to nothing about NASCAR, but these jackets seem to be linked to NASCAR driver Bobby Labonte, because the jackets have a 43 on them. And in 2007, Mr. Labonte drove a Spider-Man 3 sponsored race car, which is pretty damn sick. I'm not going to go too deep into the cars because I actually plan to make a separate video on that later, but you can get miniature replicas of the car he drove. Next up, we got these three pieces of outerwear. And going back to one of my previous statements, anything with Venom on it I'm going to find cool, so this one is my favorite. Moving on to bottoms, I found these swimming trunks. Not as many as Spider-Man 2, but there's still a good amount. Here's some pajamas that include pants. Little side note, they aren't even Raimi related, but I had these exact shoes with a blue spider on it a couple years ago. Have no clue where they even are. Speaking of shoes, I was able to find 5 pairs of Spider-Man 3 kicks. The first 3 look like what you were probably all expecting, but these next 2 are a bit different. Spider-Man 3 head slippers. While they are both cool, I think I'd have to give the edge to this one because it actually lights up. And what better to go with Spider-Man 3 shoes than some Spider-Man 3 socks? Just like with Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3 had a plethora of hats. The ones that stand out for me were this Santa hat and this Papa John's promo hat. There's also some winter hats that came with accessories like gloves and scarves. Here's another look at a scarf that I found on a stock photo website. Kinda random that it's on here, but hey, I'm not complaining. And for the final piece of Spider-Man 3 clothing, we got 2 belts that I came across. Alright, well, I'd say that's a pretty good look at Raimi Spider-Man clothes. But this video isn't done quite yet. Maybe some of you were wondering, do I have any Raimi Spider-Man clothing? And the answer would be yes, I do. Now, I don't have much. I only got 2 things right now. I have this hat, which is special to me because not only is it a cool cap, but I didn't get it recently or anything like that. I got it when I was a kid in 2007. So Raimi merchandise was still being sold in stores when I got it. The next thing I got is this kid's pajama button-up thing, which is not mine. I actually saw this in a Goodwill on like a random rack, so that was pretty cool. Places like Goodwill are really worth checking for Raimi Spider-Man merchandise, not just clothing, anything. Goodwill, Salvation Army, Savers, whatever your local thrift store may be, you can definitely find some there. Now, of course you can just order online from eBay or Mercari, and that's good, but there's something about finding it in person, you know? And it's gonna be way cheaper in a thrift store than online. I do regularly go to thrift stores, not just for Raimi merchandise, because you can find really good stuff there for cheap. And it's sometimes stuff that you aren't gonna find often, like vintage stuff. I really like vintage stuff. So yeah, if you want to go hunting for Raimi merchandise, just be on the lookout for those places. It's not like you're gonna walk into any one and just find something automatically. It may take some time, because in my experience, I've only found Raimi merchandise 2 times out of like dozens of searches. But it's still possible, and if I see something Raimi related, I'm gonna get it. I really don't care what it is, because one of my main goals with making videos like these is to document and show as much Raimi merchandise as I possibly can. Like in the case of the pajama I found, I haven't seen any pictures of that particular one, so I definitely wanted to show it. Next thing I wanted to show you guys are some photos that I think are worth showing. First, here is a collection of photos taken in 2002 at a Hollywood souvenir shop. And as you can see, they sold Spider-Man 1 shirts. So this is a look at when you could actually find Raimi Spider-Man clothing in stores. The next 2 photos I found on a blog page called Walking Prescott. And as you can see, these are some other Spider-Man 3 t-shirts on the rack in Kmart. And I mean, look at that one, that is insanely cool. I don't know about you guys, but just seeing these photos is almost like going through a time machine. It fascinates me. Before we end the video off, I do want to talk about one more thing, and that is reprints. Now, if you guys are looking for Raimi Spider-Man shirts, particularly Spider-Man 2002 shirts, you want to be on the lookout for reprints, fakes, reproductions. They are all over the place, especially on Mercari, but I have seen some on eBay as well. So, if you see a shirt, you want to look at the description. If the description says something along the lines of, you know, it describes the material made, the exact lengths, it says something like brand Gildan, and available in all sizes and in women's and men's and all that. I'll show some examples on the screen. That is going to be a fake because, number one, Gildan was not actually used for the making of those shirts. It's either going to be the Spider-Man tag, Delta Pro Weight, I believe, and All Sport. So those are the brands that they used to make Spider-Man 2002 shirts. They didn't use Gildan. So that's one red flag. And then the other red flag is the fact that there is only one picture. They don't show the actual photos of the tags or anything like that because they know if they show the tags, it won't say Gildan. So they've already outed themselves out. So you really want to be on the lookout for that. And another thing that is really, really devious, really misleading is the fact that they actually steal other people's photos. So I'll show an example right now of a real listing for a real shirt and then someone just taking their photo and using it. And obviously this is a reproduction. I mean, the price is way too low and the description again says Gildan and all that. So yeah, that's something you guys got to watch out for. I mean, if you don't mind, if you just want the shirt, I mean, go for it. But me personally, I would much rather have the actual thing from 2002, not some random shirt that has the design printed on this year. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that, and yeah, keep an eye out. Alright guys, well that's all I have for you today. Please comment below telling me if you had any of these clothes, or if you know some that I didn't show, because again, there is just so much out there that it's not really possible for me to show everything. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.